Hi everyone, how are you? This is going to be a nice little video. I'm going to answer a question that comes right from my mobile apps, and that is, how do you open and start a dance studio? Um, and for that matter, almost you can put into that any kind of like a martial arts studio or something like that, because you will see that the pattern for growing them and starting them is very similar. So to open a studio, um, number one, the same thing applies for when you're planning it and when you're actually opening it, because the business plan is just a plan for your execution. So, finances are going to be huge, right? You're going to need, the rent is probably going to be the most expensive, the most expensive expense you have. The second is you may need employees. For this kind of a business, you may not need many employees, but you should certainly, you may have one or two. And employees' salaries are usually some of the biggest costs. And of course there are startup costs, permits, licenses, things like that, and actually remodeling when you first get the space, right? So there's a cost to start, and then there are the ongoing costs. And the way you really figure them out is that there's such a thing as, in your business plan, there's such a thing that's supposed to be there. It's called a cash flow balance sheet. And it's really just a itemized list for the expenses that you have before you start, after you start, and then the revenue that comes in after you start. And of course you have to, if you haven't started, you have to project the revenue. And you project the revenue by knowing either this market or by working with somebody who's built a similar business or starting a similar business in this space, in that city, so that you can sort of know like what to expect, so that your projections are at least have some correct, some basis. So that's the financials, right? Once you start, of course, there are, you gotta get people using the studio, and it really depends on how you want to use your studio, right? In cases where you have instructors and you need students, then it's a matter of, it's just a local service. It's a matter of promoting your business as a local service. And if you've seen my videos before, you're probably tired of me talking about how to promote a local service. But I have a lot of tips for how to promote a local service. It's like basically you gotta post, you have to have a website to be found on Google, you have to leverage Google, you have to leverage your local listing website, you have to leverage the local publications, blogs, newspapers, then you have to leverage events, local events, because it's all local people, then it's the community, things like that. Then of course you have to leverage referrals, social and professional. So I'm not gonna get deep into it. I have videos on that already. They cover it in like real depth. But this is just sort of it. That's kind of how, those are the things you should do. The particulars for how to do it, I have a video already, and I have a different video, and I keep repeating it across my different videos. So I'll skip that. I'll go quickly over that now. So if you really want to know more about it, check out the other videos. And so that's how you promote it. And of course you need to make money. And yeah, this is always tricky, right? Because you have to figure out like how many students you need, how many classes for, because you have to know what your costs are. You have to know what your financial goals for this business are, what's going to make it sustainable, right? And then you have to figure out like per how much you can charge per student, what are the other revenue streams you might have, and then you have to see how many students you're going to be able to sort of get, right? What's interesting about this kind of a business, it's that it can borrow from something that gyms do. And the great thing that gyms do, like gyms as in like fitness centers, is that they have a subscription membership. And the great thing about subscription memberships is that in the beginning people are like really excited and they're like, yes, I'm gonna go all the time, but then they stop going, but they don't cancel their subscription. So over time gyms tend to accumulate the number of subscriptions they have, and that's what you have to kind of do with your studio, because on day one you have 0 subscriptions, right? On day 2 you probably don't have that many subscriptions to or customers to justify all the costs, right? So you're going to need some runway to accumulate that monthly subscriber base or that user, or somehow make sure that your relationship with your clients is as close to a subscription-based model as possible. And yes, you also want to make it easy for them to start. So I would not have a big barrier to start, because you want as many people as possible to sort of start and come in. So there can be like introductory deals or whatever and get people to do it and like it. But eventually you gotta convert them into subscribers, kind of people who are paying regularly, right? And I think, you know, like karate studios or something like that, they have that down pretty well. If you have a dance studio, it might be a slightly different strategy for how to get to do that, but you got to get to that point, because only with that accumulation of people who are subscribing, who are regular sort of users of your facility, then you'll get to a good financial place, right? So you don't have to start from zero every month. You'll have a base, and that's what you want to get to. And over time, once you get to that, number one, all your customers will be remarketing. They'll be talking. They'll be inviting their friends, right? But also, you're not going to be starting from zero. You'll have a base, and after a while, it will be a very, very financially lucrative business, but not right away. Usually, it's a struggle. For the first year, it is a struggle, and I've seen people really struggle with it in the first year. So what you have to do is, back to that whole cash flow balance sheet, figure out what's your burn rate. So, because you need to last for like a year or maybe 18 months to really get your marketing going, so that you actually get in the clients, right? And you have every piece of your business is figured out, because it takes time. So that's what I wanted to sort of say about how to start a kind of a dance studio, or like a karate or martial arts studio. Those are the important elements. And of course, you want to target, certain demographics, things like that. But that's, I don't want to say it's secondary because it's so important. But those three things that I just mentioned, those are really the key. So that's it. Please subscribe to this channel if this was helpful. And of course, if you are looking to start a business that's kind of a similar business to this or something, I created a 4-app mobile app course which helps you start your business. It takes you from business ideas to business planning, to marketing your business, to raising money for your business. So it takes you right from the beginning and guides you all the way through. And that's available on Problemio.com, or if you search for Problemio in any of the app stores, iOS, Android, Kindle, or the Nook. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.